You won't find these bikes in flashy commercials or weekend showroom expos, but they'll outlast half the machines people brag about. We're counting down 7 hidden gems that do the job better and cheaper. Watch through to number 1 because that bike, it's the smartest ride nobody's buying yet.
Number 7. Royal Enfield Hunter 350.
Some motorcycles try to impress with aggressive styling, high-revving engines, and digital overload. But every now and then, a motorcycle comes along that gets everything right by doing less. And doing it well. That is exactly where the Hunter 350 fits in. This machine produces 20 horsepower from a 349 cubic centimeters air-cooled single-cylinder engine, delivering around 19 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by a disc system front and rear, supported by a dual-channel anti-lock braking system. Wet weight comes in at approximately 400 pounds, with a seat height of 31.1 inches. Starting price is $3,999 in the United States. The Hunter 350 does not chase performance headlines. It is built for relaxed city cruising, weekend rides, and riders who value presence over pace. Its metal fenders, round headlight, and teardrop tank bring a grounded charm to the street without screaming for attention. You will not find flashy ride modes, app-controlled gimmicks, or aggressive plastic here. What you get instead is a classic silhouette with just enough modern tech to make the ride easy, like a clean analog-digital instrument cluster and reliable fuel injection. This motorcycle speaks especially well to riders who want simplicity they can trust. There is no drama, no learning curve, just an honest machine that turns heads quietly and gets you where you need to go with style. The clutch may feel a bit stiff, and the seat could be plusher for longer rides, but those are minor critiques when the total package offers this much charm for this little money.
It is the kind of bike that feels like it was designed for the rider first, not for the showroom or the spec sheet. Maintenance is refreshingly simple. The engine layout is straightforward. Accessing parts does not require pulling half the bike apart. That mechanical honesty is a rare thing today, and it is one of the reasons this motorcycle has already started to build a loyal following among older riders looking to return to something more elemental.
And yet, despite all of this, it remains overlooked. Why? Because in the American market, riders often chase bigger names with bloated expectations. But this is a bike that wins over riders in the long run, not with horsepower, but with heart. It is a reminder that cool does not have to be complicated and that a well-balanced machine with modest power can still be unforgettable. The Hunter 350 is not going to dominate a drag race or conquer a canyon road, but it will do something more valuable for most. Offer a dependable, low-stress ride that makes you smile every time you saddle up. That is why it deserves a spot on this list. It may be modest on paper, but in the real world, it punches far above its weight in satisfaction. The next motorcycle on this list leaves charm behind in favor of pure practicality. No frills, no flash, just bulletproof performance and the kind of reliability that mechanics respect. If you've seen empty showrooms or bikes collecting dust, hit like and drop a comment. What's the most overpriced bike you've spotted this year? Number 6. Suzuki GS 500. There are motorcycles that beg for the spotlight, and then there's the GS 500. This is a machine that shows up, gets the job done, and never asks for applause. No gimmicks, no flex. Just the kind of solid, honest riding experience that sticks with you long after you turn off the ignition. Power comes from a 487 cubic centimeters air-cooled parallel twin, producing around 47 horsepower and 30 pound-feet of torque. The braking system includes a single disc at the front and rear with no electronic intervention, just pure mechanical feel. Suspension is handled by conventional front forks and dual rear shocks. Wet weight lands at approximately 390 pounds, and the seat height is 31 inches even. When new, this bike retailed for about $4,400, but today clean examples routinely trade hands for under $2,000. The GS 500 is often labeled as a beginner's bike, and on paper that is not wrong. But it is also a misjudgment. What sets it apart is how long it lasts, how little it asks of you, and how well it teaches you to ride. Its engine is smooth, predictable, and surprisingly eager. It will cruise at highway speeds without complaint, and its gearing makes it more capable on back roads than most give it credit for. Add in 50 to 70 miles per gallon fuel economy and you have a commuter, a weekend warrior, and a long-term companion wrapped into one.
What makes this bike especially appealing is how easy it is to live with. Maintenance is simple, parts are everywhere, and if you are even a little bit mechanically inclined, it is the kind of motorcycle you can take care of in your own garage with basic tools and a few cold beers. No dealership drama, no specialty diagnostics. Just oil, chain, valves, and ride.
It is also a blank canvas. Riders have turned these into cafe racers, trackers, and sport tourers with ease. The platform is forgiving and flexible, and the low upfront cost makes it a favorite for custom builders and first-timers alike. While everyone else is chasing trend bikes and dumping money into performance they may never use, the GS500 quietly keeps rolling. And perhaps that's the best part. Because it is not trendy, it is not overpriced, you will find these sitting quietly in classifieds for a fraction of what newer, flashier machines cost, despite being every bit as capable for real-world riding. That makes it a perfect fit for riders who value results over reputation. The GS500 may not win you awards at bike night, but it will get you to work on time, carry you across state lines, and do it all without a single complaint. It is a motorcycle that asks for almost nothing and gives back far more than you expect. But if reliability is the GS500's superpower, the next bike takes things in a completely different direction. Built by a forgotten factory and powered by a Yamaha heart, it is a rare hybrid that defies expectations, and barely anyone knows it exists. Everything I recommend, from gloves to chain lube to budget gear upgrades, is in the description. No fluff, just what I use and trust.
Number 5. MZ Scorpion 660. Every now and then, a motorcycle slips through the cracks, not because it lacked quality, but because no one knew what to do with it. The Scorpion 660 is exactly that kind of machine. Built in East Germany after the wall fell, powered by a Japanese engine, and wearing British design touches, it is one of the most overlooked and overbuilt bikes of the late 20th century.
At its core is a 660 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine sourced from Yamaha, producing between 48 and 58 horsepower and around 47 pound-feet of torque. Braking is managed by dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc, all with no electronic interference. Dry weight is an impressively light 380 pounds, while the seat height comes in at 31.5 inches. These bikes originally sold for roughly $6,500 in their day, but now you can find well-kept models for as little as $2,200. The Scorpion was available in 3 variants: the Sport, the Tour, and the Traveler. All 3 shared the same mechanical bones: stiff chassis, solid suspension, and above-average components like stainless steel silencers, factory panniers, and adjustable controls on some models. Handling was agile and intuitive, and the bike's lightness gave it a playful personality in corners while still feeling planted on longer rides. What makes this machine particularly special is its parts bin engineering done right. The Yamaha engine was already a known quantity: bulletproof, torque, and easy to maintain. Combine that with German manufacturing discipline and Italian bits like Grimeca brakes, and you have a motorcycle that never should have failed. And yet, because it lacked a big-name badge and serious marketing behind it, the Scorpion faded into obscurity.
That obscurity is a gift to today's rider. These bikes are still floating around, usually underappreciated and often in great condition. They are not collector's items, which keeps prices grounded, and the Yamaha engine ensures parts availability is not an issue. If you are the kind of rider who appreciates function over hype, this bike checks nearly every box, and it does it without ever raising its voice.
Unlike other motorcycles in this class, the Scorpion does not need to be tamed. It is balanced, predictable, and rewarding right out of the box. Whether you're carving up back roads, commuting through town, or logging light touring miles, it handles it all without fuss. It is a machine that respects the rider, something rare at any price point. The Scorpion 660 is living proof that great engineering is not always enough to capture market attention. Sometimes the best bikes are the ones no one's looking for, and that is exactly why this one is worth hunting down before word gets out. But if the Scorpion is the forgotten engineer's dream, the next bike on this list is something entirely different. Number 4, Honda XR650L. Some motorcycles evolve, others are born right the first time and simply refuse to change. The XR650L is one of those rare machines, a survivor, a tank on 2 wheels, a bike that has outlasted trends, competitors, and even entire motorcycle companies without so much as a major update since 1993. At the heart of this beast is a 644 cubic centimeters air-cooled single-cylinder engine producing approximately 40 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque. The braking system is simple and effective, single discs front and rear. It weighs in at around 346 pounds dry, and the seat height towers at 37 inches. Brand new, the XR650L starts at $7,600, but used examples can be found anywhere from $3,500 to $6,000, depending on mileage and abuse. This is not a sleek, street-smart machine. It is tall, it is heavy, and it looks like it could headbutt a mountain and win. There are no ride modes, no traction control, no digital dashboard. What you get is a metal gas tank, a big round headlight, and enough ground clearance to roll straight over a car bumper. The controls are analog, the throttle response is pure mechanical, and the entire bike feels like it was built to shrug off whatever the world throws at it. What makes the XR so enduring is its brutal honesty. It does not care about image. It is not trying to be cool. This is a tool, a motorcycle designed to go anywhere, survive anything, and come back for more. Trail riders love it, commuters respect it, preppers practically worship it. From the desert to the backwoods to the cracked asphalt of the suburbs, the XR thrives where other bikes would hesitate.
Its biggest weakness: accessibility. At 37 inches, the seat height is intimidating for shorter riders. It is also not lightweight by today's dual sport standards, and if you are used to modern adventure bikes with touchscreen control centers and power outlets, the XR is going to feel like stepping back into another era.
But that is exactly why it works. Its simplicity is its strength. Fewer electronics means fewer things to break. Basic maintenance can be done in a garage, under a shade tree, or out in the field with the right tools and a little know-how. And when it does need parts, they are everywhere, because Honda has been making the same bike for over 3 decades. The XR650L is not going to win any beauty contests, and it certainly will not win many races. But if you want a motorcycle that keeps going when everything else stops, one that asks very little and gives back reliability in spades, this is it. It is not for everyone, and that is the point. This motorcycle is for riders who value resilience over refinement, for the kind of person who would rather finish the ride than post about it. And if the world ever truly goes sideways, the XR is the kind of machine you want under you when the road disappears. But let us shift gears. Rugged reliability is great, but maybe your riding life lives closer to neon signs, coffee shops, and curbside appeal. The next machine brings back vintage cool with a modern twist, and it does it without breaking the bank.
Number 3. Kawasaki Zephyr 550. Before motorcycles became rolling showcases for tech and torquey numbers, there was a time when balance, charm, and craftsmanship ruled the streets. The Zephyr 550 is a machine born from that era, a retro-styled 4-cylinder standard that never asked to be flashy, but always delivered when it counted. It is the kind of bike that disappears underneath you in the best possible way until you realize you have been grinning for miles.
Underneath its understated frame is a 553 cubic centimeters air-cooled inline 4-cylinder engine making approximately 50 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque. Stopping power comes from dual disc brakes up front and a single disc in the rear, without any electronic aids. Wet weight is roughly 420 pounds and the seat height is a modest 30.9 inches. When new, the Zephyr 550 sold for about $5,200, but today clean examples can be found between $1,800 and $2,500 in private sales.
What makes this motorcycle special is not its performance, it is the feel. From the moment you roll on the throttle, you get that buttery smooth 4-cylinder response. Not violent, not twitchy, just linear power that builds with a classic hum. The handling is neutral and responsive, with just enough give in the suspension to take the edge off broken pavement, yet enough stiffness to flick through corners when the road gets twisty.
It was designed in the early 1990s as a tribute to the iconic Japanese motorcycles of the 1970s, specifically the legendary Z1, round headlight, twin shocks, teardrop tank, chrome fenders. All the lines are there, but the mechanicals were modernized just enough to make it more livable without sacrificing soul. The reason this motorcycle flies under the radar is simple. It never got the spotlight. Bigger versions like the Zephyr 750 and 1100 took the headlines. Meanwhile, sportier rivals like the Bandit 600 and Hornet 600 scooped up younger riders looking for more performance. That left the 550 in a strange no man's land. Too small for collectors, too classic for the new crowd, and too subtle for riders chasing numbers. But that is exactly why it is a hidden gem today. It has the look of a vintage bike without the drama. Just a well-built motorcycle with timeless lines, an easygoing ride, and mechanical simplicity. If you are a rider who enjoys the feel of an old-school machine but does not want the constant wrenching that comes with true vintage ownership, this is your lane. The Zephyr 550 gives you that old-school silhouette with a user-friendly engine, reliable components, and a price tag that is not caught up with its value. Yet, you do not need to shout to be heard, and this bike proves it. You do not need to race to enjoy the road, and you certainly do not need to spend 5 figures to own something worth looking back at after you park it. But while the Zephyr is a smooth-talking throwback, the next bike is pure engineering muscle. And with an engine configuration that makes it stand apart from every twin and inline 4 in its class. If you know, you know. And if you do not, you are about to.
Number 2. Honda VFR 800. Not every motorcycle needs to dominate the conversation to leave a mark. Some earn their reputation over time, mile after mile, year after year, without making a fuss. The VFR 800 fits that mold. It is the quiet professional of the motorcycle world. Dependable, capable, and built with a level of engineering that most modern bikes simply do not bother with anymore.
Powering this machine is a 781 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V4 engine delivering approximately 105 horsepower and 54 pound-feet of torque. Braking is managed by dual discs in the front and a single rear disc, with the later models equipped with a dual-channel anti-lock braking system. Wet weight comes in around 530 pounds, and the seat height is a modest 31.8 inches. When it first hit showrooms, this motorcycle carried a price tag near $12,500. Though today, you can find clean examples between $2,500 and $4,400. The VFR's defining trait is balance. It is not built for flash or fashion. It is built to handle just about anything you throw at it. Whether you are heading into the mountains, crossing 3 states in a day, or commuting to the office, it adapts without hesitation. The power delivery from the V4 is smooth, progressive, and unmistakably unique. Unlike twins that thump or inline 4s that scream, this engine sings with a distinct mechanical harmony. While others chase lightweight frames or bleeding-edge tech, this motorcycle leans into refinement. It is the type of machine that you understand more deeply the longer you ride it, and the more you ask of it, the more it delivers. Its under-the-radar status is largely due to its identity. It does not slot neatly into a category. Sport riders often overlook it because of its weight. Touring riders bypass it for full-dress cruisers. And casual buyers may never have heard of it at all, but those who do discover the VFR tend to hold on to it. Not because it is trendy, but because it is timeless. Honda designed this bike to last. From the single-sided swing arm to the gear-driven cams, every detail speaks to quality and purpose. It is not a show pony, it is a long-haul machine that rewards attention to detail and punishes neglect with grace, not failure. The VFR 800 may not spark instant excitement in the showroom, but on the open road it reveals its character in ways that few motorcycles can match. It is confident without being cocky, capable without ever bragging, the kind of bike you take everywhere and forget why you ever needed anything else. This is a motorcycle for riders who have outgrown the need to prove something. It is for those who value strength in silence and performance wrapped in longevity. And when your garage has space for only one machine, this is the one that can do it all, with elegance, grit, and staying power. Now the final spot on this list belongs to a completely different breed. It is louder, leaner, and unapologetically focused. A middleweight that rewrote the rules, but never got the credit it deserved. Still watching? Then you know this crash is real. Subscribe now, because the next video could save you from buying the wrong bike.
Number 1. Triumph Daytona 675. In a segment crowded with familiar names, there was one machine that dared to take a different path and nearly rewrote the rulebook in the process. The Daytona 675 did not just enter the middleweight sport bike class, it redefined what a rider could expect from it. Sharp, confident, and unshakably composed, this motorcycle delivered performance far beyond its reputation. Powering this machine is a 675 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled triple-cylinder engine, producing roughly 125 horsepower and 52 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by dual front discs and a single rear disc. Dry weight is about 364 pounds, and the seat height comes in at 32.7 inches. When it hit showrooms, it listed for around $11,600. Now, well-maintained used models can be found between $3,800 and $6,500.
What gave the Daytona its edge was the way it blended precision with personality. The triple-engine layout delivered a distinctive riding experience. More punch than an inline 4-down-low, but with enough top-end surge to satisfy even the most demanding back-road riders. It felt alive in your hands, not just fast. Every throttle input, every lean angle, every gear change felt deliberate, refined, and rewarding. Unlike its Japanese counterparts, which often leaned heavily into lap times and tech, the Daytona focused on connection. It was about engagement, about how a bike feels, not just how fast it goes. Its narrow frame, agile geometry, and responsive chassis made it a favorite for riders who cared about the details. No excess, no bloat. Just a pure, distilled sport bike. Despite all of that, it never found the audience it deserved. Triumph was still rebuilding its global presence when the Daytona arrived. Dealerships were limited, marketing was minimal, and in a sea of household names, it struggled to make noise. Riders stuck to what they knew and overlooked something better in the process. Today, that oversight is your advantage. With the model now discontinued, the Daytona is gaining cult status among those who recognize its strengths. Owners speak of it with quiet pride. Track day veterans nod in appreciation. And anyone who has spent serious time in the saddle will tell you it should have been a legend. The beauty of this machine lies in its simplicity of purpose. It is not trying to be everything for everyone. It is a rider's bike, focused, responsive, and unapologetically built for those who ride hard and pay attention. And now that prices are within reach, there has never been a better moment to bring one home. You are not just buying performance. You are investing in a machine that feels handcrafted for the road, the rider, and the moment. Because sometimes the most memorable bikes are not the ones with the biggest names or the longest resumes, they are the ones that speak to you when everything else is trying to shout. The crash wiped out hype, ego, and overbuilt machines. But buried beneath the rubble, some of the best motorcycles no one's talking about. Go watch the hidden gems that are quietly outperforming bikes twice their price. And if this opened your eyes, like, comment, and subscribe. You just became part of the few who get it. Part of the few who get it. Part of the few who get it.